Well, news just coming in that last Thursday, the Enforcement Directorate had summoned Trinamool Congress leader Mahua Moitra to appear before the agency on February 19th, which is today, for questioning in the Foreign Exchange Management Act contravention case. Mahua Moitra to skip ED summons. News just coming in that Trinamool Congress leader and former Lok Sabha MP Mahua Moitra was to appear before the ED for questioning in FEMA contravention case today. She is most likely to skip the ED summon, that's what we have gathered. Her statement was to be recorded under the provisions of FEMA. I'm joined in by my colleague Shravan from Delhi newsroom. Shravan, latest news, Mahua Moitra likely to skip the ED summon. Of course, the ED had summoned her regarding a FEMA case, contravention case.
Well, in fact, Giri, what we can confirm
my colleague
right now
Shravan is joining us on the phone line.
Is that the summons? Well, in fact, the latest that we are picking up in the summons that was sent out to the former Trinamool Congress parliamentarian Mahua Moitra, in all likelihood, she's unlikely to appear before the Enforcement Directorate. In fact, it turns out that she is currently in Noida, and her office essentially maintains that the summons that were sent out by the Enforcement Directorate last week hasn't even reached her. In fact, this is also turning out to be yet another moment for the opposition parties to come together, saying that most of the opposition parties are being targeted by the Enforcement Directorate at a time when they are all preparing for the elections, starting from the Aam Aadmi Party to the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha and now the Trinamool Congress. As far as Mahua Moitra is concerned, the case against her, the Enforcement Directorate, while investigating, in fact, a lead was given by the Income Tax Department, and it turns out that they've actually come across an NRE account in which transactions were actually taking place. That is the reason why Mahua Moitra has been called in for questioning by the Enforcement Directorate. This is not a Prevention of Money Laundering Act case. It turns out that Mahua Moitra has been called in for questioning in a foreign exchange violation case, and this is not to do with the cash for query scam. Given the fact that, remember, the cash for query scam, as of now, there is no predicate offence in this particular case because the Central Bureau of Investigation hasn't even registered an FIR. In fact, a preliminary inquiry is being carried out by the Central Bureau of Investigation. Stakeholders have been called in for questioning. Their examination has already taken place. This particular case in which Mahua Moitra has been called in for questioning by the Enforcement Directorate is pertaining to a foreign exchange violation case.
Right, Shravan. Mahua Moitra, in her defense, had denied the allegations. She denied doing any wrongdoing and claimed that she was being targeted as she had raised questions on the deal of the Adani Group.
Well, as far as this particular case is concerned, there hasn't been any response coming in from Mahua Moitra because this is nothing to do with the cash for query scam, because that was a different matter altogether. But remember, in that particular case, the Central Bureau of Investigation is still carrying out their preliminary inquiry. Now, it is subject to the preliminary inquiry. It is then the Central Bureau of Investigation would take the final decision whether at all an FIR has to be registered against Mahua Moitra. If they do, it certainly paves way for the Enforcement Directorate to also take up that entire matter. Now, this is a different case altogether in which, remember, the Income Tax Department had actually come across a lead in this particular matter because they say an NRE account was actually being utilized, and they believe, or they rather suspect, that this was actually being utilized by Mahua Moitra, and the transactions that have taken place is in contravention of the Foreign Exchange Act, and that is the reason why Mahua Moitra has been called in for questioning. In this particular case, we are really haven't heard anything from Mahua Moitra at this point in time. But remember, this comes certainly as a double whammy for the former Trinamool Congress parliamentarian, because her case is already being probed by the CBI. In fact, as far as the cash for query scam goes, in which Darshan Hiranandani has examined twice, Jayanant Dehadrai, the main complainant in this particular case, has also been examined by the Central Bureau of Investigation. We are also being told that a top regional party politician is likely to be called in for questioning by the Central Bureau of Investigation. So it is certainly gaining momentum. And with the Enforcement Directorate now stepping in, it certainly means more trouble for them.
हुई है, वो ऐसा इल्जाम कैसे लगा सकते हैं? उनके नेता एक्टिंग से ही बने हैं सारे, तो वो हमारे ऊपर ऐसे इल्जाम कैसे लगा सकते हैं? हम तो एक ग्राउंड वर्कर है, ग्राउंड पे काम करने वाले लोग हैं। और अगर एक्टर्स भी ऐसी बातें उठाते हैं, क्योंकि उनको भी अधिकार है, तो मुझे लगता है वो भी ऐसी लड़ाई लड़ सकते हैं।
शाहजहां इतना दिन हो गया मेन आरोपी, वो अभी तक फरार है, अभी तक अरेस्ट किया नहीं हुआ है। लेकिन ये सब होने के बाद शिबू हजरा जो उनका राइट हैंड है, वो
अरेस्ट नहीं हो रहा, इसीलिए महिलाएं डरी हुई हैं। अरेस्ट हो जाएगा तो मुझे लगता है कि अरेस्ट के बाद महिलाएं और आएंगी आगे। कहीं ना कहीं हमें इस पे जोर देना होगा कि ये जो शेख है इसको अरेस्ट किया जाए। अब मुझे काम करने दें, उसके बाद
Right, NCW chief, as we can see, Rekha Sharma has reached Sandeshkhali to meet Bengal Governor, Chief Secretary and DGP in the state during her two-day visit to Sandeshkhali to ensure that women get justice. She will also be meeting the Governor of West Bengal, C.V. Ananda Bose. Now, the women's panel, remember viewers, had earlier been sent a fact-finding team had been sent to Sandeshkhali to investigate reports of alleged victims of sexual violence. Now, moving on to news and wrap from across the country, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will lay foundation stone of multiple development projects worth over rupees 30,500 crores in Jammu. Prime Minister will distribute appointment orders to about 1,500 new government recruits of Jammu and Kashmir. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal skipped the 6th ED summon in Delhi excise policy case. Chief Minister Kejriwal claimed that summons is illegal and ED should wait for Supreme Court's decision. French Senate Chairman Gerard Larcher is on an official visit to India and is accompanied by a delegation of 5 senators. The visit aims to strengthen bilateral ties and parliamentary cooperation between India and France. Tamil Nadu Finance Minister Thangam Tennarasu tabled budget in the State Assembly today in presence of Chief Minister M.K. Stalin. The State Finance Minister announced rupees 1,000 crore for development of rural roads in state budget. Kerala Governor Arif Mohammed Khan visited Wayanad and addressed the growing concerns of human-animal conflict in the region. Governor met family of Ajish, who lost his life due to a wild elephant attack.